Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the MakeCode Arcade Advanced stream. I'm Richard on the MakeCode Forum.
I'm Joey at J1Drill on the MakeCode Forum.
And let me just resize us. Insert me complaining about teams here. There we go. All right, cool. Again, me complaining about teams for a use case it was never meant for, which is our live stream. All right. Hello, everybody. Today we are going to be continuing working on our board game. Before we get started on that, though, I do want to mention that the mini game jam isn't starting this week because it's actually not the first Monday of the month. Today is still September. So if you have an idea for a mini game jam theme, please feel free to either shout it out in the chat or to post it on the forum, because we still have a week to figure out what it's going to be. Also, on another note, I want to do a big game jam sometime soon. So, look forward to that. But I just need to get my act together before I can give you more details on that. So more on that to follow, but it might take me a little bit to get going on that because I have to figure out exactly what we're doing. And also, it takes more work to do the big ones than the little ones, as you might guess. We have to make a little stand up a website and stuff. So, all right. Well, with that out of the way, let's get started. So we're working on a Mario Party inspired board game. It's Mario Party inspired in that it's going to have the board game walking around mechanics of a Mario Party game. We haven't actually decided what we're going to do in the game. I don't know. It's possible we might just get to the end of this walking around the board part and then decide that this game is done and work on something else. But, for now at least, let's keep working on this. So right now, we've done the start of a turn. So it says player one start. Then you get the dice that appears. Then you jump and you can hit the dice. There you go. And then that's where we're at. So you can see I got an 8. And now we need to move ourselves 8 spaces. So let's get to that. So right now, we've been doing this all with state transitions. So here are our states right here. We have turn, start, roll dice, show number, movement, and consequence. So right now we are in the show number state, as you may have guessed. And that's right here. So once we press A, when we're in the roll dice, we go to show number. And so we're probably going to make it so that once we get into the show number state, let's just automatically transition into the movement state after a second. Or we'll make it if you press A, you go immediately. But all right, I'm going to make this movement. We'll do that in 1 second. And then we're also going to have a button handler. Going to make this not movement. We're going to make this show number. And if you press that, we're just immediately going to go to movement. So you can skip forward if you want to, because you're a pro gamer. All right. Now let's go ahead and do the, oh wait, this is exit. I want this to be enter. So enter show number, then we want to change to movement in 1 second. There we go. Okay. So let's go ahead and do another enter, and this one is going to be movement. Then the first thing we want to do is we want to destroy that dice or make the dice stop showing up. So I think it should already stop showing up because we just stopped drawing it. So we don't need to worry about that. So we just need to actually do the movement now. So how are we going to do that? Well, we need to first figure out what spot we're on, and then every spot has an arrow pointing in the direction that you can go, right? So for this one, I will be going up here, and then I will be going to the right until I get to here, and then I'll start moving up. And if I get here, that means I have a choice of I can either go left or right. So there's one more case that we have to deal with. So let's say I go left and I end up over here. Well, whenever we have something that is going perpendicular to our current direction and is going in the opposite direction, we're going to automatically turn that into a choice. So that's just so we don't have to draw a million arrow tiles that have all the different combinations of exits you can have from a certain point. So it's ambiguous for this one, which is why we have to have these. Same thing for in the horizontal direction. But for this one, we don't have to worry about that because if it is going perpendicular and away from wherever our current tile is, the only way to get on that, presumably, is to, turn here. That does, I guess, limit us a little bit in that we couldn't like make a little thing where it's like going to the right and then I don't know. I think this is fine to do. So, all right. So let's go ahead and make a function that we're going to call move one space. And what we're going to do is first get our sprite. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see. We have our piece get value. Oh, right. I made a function for this. Perfect. There you go. So first thing we need to do is figure out what type of tile are we on. So we're going to go ahead and put an if here. And we're going to go at side of scene. We're going to grab tile at or tile 2 and then choose center of this sprite is. And let's start with our start tile. So this one right here. All right. So if it is our start tile, we just want to figure out whatever tile is not empty next to it. And if it's not empty, then we're just going to go to that tile. So let's go ahead and do, let's see. You know what I think I might end up doing? Let's do a thing right here and do adjacent tiles. And we're just going to make an array of adjacent tiles because I have a feeling that in a few of these checks, we're going to want to check the adjacent tiles. So
Makes sense, yeah.
So we're going to do tile map location, and we need to get the location of our player. So let's go ahead and grab tile map location of sprite, and then pass in that function we have. And I'm going to hit 2 pluses so that this turns vertical. Cool. And now we're just going to put 4 of these in here and do left, top, right, bottom. There you go. Okay, so that's all of our adjacent tiles. So what we're going to do now is we are going to loop over those. Whoops. Hey now. Unselect text. There we go. All right. So we're going to check each of those, and we want to figure out, is it an arrow tile? So let's make a function for that. We're going to make a function which is going to be is arrow tile, and this will take in an image. And we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 arrow tiles. So that's why we're just going to put this into a function to make our lives easier. So let's do inside of image, we're going to grab the equals block right here. Put image right there. And now we need a tile block. So I'm just going to drag it out of here. And we're literally just going to do a bunch of if statements because it's easier than making a bunch of ors. Oops. Yeah, it should be 6. All right. So we got the left one, got this 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 one. There we go. All right. Now we can close this function and never look at it again. So we're going to go ahead and do if and call that function we just made is arrow tile. And then we need to get the image at the location. So we can go ahead and grab that right here, tile image at, and then put in our value. Then we're going to break. So let's go ahead and put break in there. And we want to do our actual movement. So let's go into Sprite Utils has move too, right? Yeah. Cool. All right. Now to test this out, we're going to go into B button pressed, and we're just going to call this function over and over again so that we can test things out. So we press B, we should move up. We did it.
Nice.
All right. Okay. That works. Our player is basically invisible against these tiles, so I want to keep our little goblin, but let's make him bright green. There you go. Slightly easier to see. Okay. Cool. All right. So we moved one space. Let's go ahead and do the next one. So now we have to deal with the case where it is one of our you know what? Let's handle the choice next, or at least let's put in a case for the choice.
Mm-hmm.
And then not actually code it yet. So we're going to put in these two, and we want to put this inside of an else if. So let's go ahead and hit else if right there. All right, and we're going to do something. And then if it's not, then it means we're on a normal arrow tile. So we're going to have to, let's deal with the normal arrow tile first, because that's going to be easier. And we're just going to make it move to whatever the next tile is, and we'll handle the choice stuff in a second. So let's go ahead and do a if, or I guess we can just keep doing this else if. No, actually, I want to do an if here because I think it's going to be easier to have this be an if and not just be one giant else if, so that I can refactor this. All right, so if the tile to the center is up, then we're going to move up. So we're going to go ahead and do move to, and we're going to grab the time application top of this. And let's go ahead and make a variable right now for our move time so that we aren't putting the time in a bunch of cases. Hi, Bruhan. All right, move time millis. And we're going to set this to be 200. Grab that. Stick this here and here. Beautiful. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and do this one. So if it's to the right, then we're doing the same thing, but we're making it the right. I guessed. If it is down, same thing, but we're going down. And then for the last case, we're going left. All right. So let's go ahead and hit B, hit B, hit B, B. Look at our guy go. And now we're stuck. But he was going for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
It's just going.
Yeah. All right.
So
that's cool. Okay, let's handle the case where we have to make a choice. So we're not going to handle these branching ones yet. We're just going to handle these actual explicit tabs. So the easiest way to do this is to, let's break these out because we're going to have to do an if statement in here anyway. So why we don't need to make it be one if case. The easiest way to do a yes or no choice is to just go into game and grab the ask block. And if this returns true, then we move to the left. Otherwise, we move to the right. We're not actually going to do it this way. This is just for demonstration purposes.
Mhm.
All right. Now we can go ahead and do this. Do. Okay. Now we press it. It's going to say move left. We're going to say no. And then we go over here. Go, move left. Yes. Cool. All right. So you get the idea. So that's obviously a less than ideal UI, I guess. Just kind of awkward. So if we want to do something a little bit better, what would we do?
Mm. I guess we could just pop up 2 directions on screen and
Yeah. So
like a
I guess what we're going to do is, because we could even have 3 direction choices, which this isn't going to work for.
Mhm.
But, let's go ahead and put that one of those in our test map just because we're going to have to do it eventually anyway. What am I looking for? Where is our tile map? There we go. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and put in a 3 direction choice because we're going to have to code eventually. Okay, so right here, if we go to this tile, we have 3 choices. We can either go right, left, or continue forward. So obviously our yes, no UI is not going to work for that. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to make some icons appear. We'll have like a left, up, right, or what have you. And then you'll be able to press left and right to move between those icons. And then when you press A, that will lock in your choice and the movement will continue onwards. Right?
Mhm.
So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to draw our icons first. So let's go ahead and make a array. Going to grab an image block. And we'll make these 24 by 24. Oops. A size I am arbitrarily choosing. And let's just draw a big fat arrow. Joey, do you have any video games you're particularly excited about in October?
In October is a hard one. I know the one you're gonna say, so I'll skip that one. I think that's in October. I just got Zelda and I'm playing that a little bit. It's pretty fun.
Yep, good.
Yeah, a very good game. It doesn't play at all like the fight. You just gotta take it more like a puzzle game, I think, and you'll enjoy it. And I finished Astrobot mostly. I have some trophies I can get, I guess, but I got like all the star equivalents, all the bots. And still playing Mega Man a little. So which game are you looking forward to in October?
Oh, it's a little game with a not confusing at all title called Metaphor: Refantasio.
Mhm.
I'm very excited about. Joey knows this.
Yes, yeah.
And which they released a demo for, which has like 5 hours of content, but I will not be playing because that's just going to make me more excited. Rohan says that they have been waiting for Tetris forever, which is cool.
Nice.
What's particular about this Tetris game, Rohan?
Yeah. Are you saying that you're always, like, forever you're going to be excited for Tetris, or this specific one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you saying that thing that Joey said, or?
What's novel about this Tetris implementation? Is it 40 different versions of Tetris since 1984? That's a lot.
That is a lot.
Nice. All in
I
one.
implemented Tetris not that long ago, and so I'm aware of the huge number of
Versions and variants and all that.
Yes. There's a lot of ways you can rotate your blocks, Joey.
Makes sense.
Of course, as longtime viewers of the stream will know, I am a Puyo Puyo.
Puyo.
Sure, let's go with that. Which means that you and I are rivals, Brohan. But it's okay. I won't kick you off the forum. All right, there we go. It's an arrow. So we're going to go ahead and create 4 of these and just rotate them around. One, 2, 3. I have some friends that I occasionally play Puyo Puyo Tetris with. And they always play Tetris, and I play Puyo Puyo, and I destroy them.
Yeah.
Because I'm good at Puyo Puyo. And by good, I mean that anyone who is actually good at Puyo Puyo would crush me. But for the layperson who does not play Tetris or Puyo Puyo that often. Oh, you think so, Brohan? Because I play the my method of training for Puyo Puyo is I play the Japanese Puyo Puyo 2 release, which is the greatest version of Puyo Puyo ever made, which is much harder than the American release, and also just awesome. So, all right. All right. Okay. I think what we're going to do here is we're going to make a function which is going to be called getChoiceDirections. And this is going to return an array of numbers. I used to be much, much better at Tetris than I am now, but I haven't played Tetris in a while. Or at least seriously in a while, you know? But Puyo Puyo is always first in my heart.
Makes sense. I think it really just is the name that sells it.
The
just
name?
Such a fun, it's such a fun name to say. Puyo Puyo.
It is a fun name to say, but I think you're not giving enough credit to the amazing gameplay of Puyo Puyo.
I mean, that could also be true, but the name is there.
Okay, so you might be wondering, what are these numbers I'm putting in? So we're using my usual convention for directions, which is 0 is up, 1 is right, 2 is down, 3 is left. So for this one, we want to do up down, which is going to be 0 and 2. Okay, now next up, what we're going to do is the 4 directions. So if we are heading up, then we are going to check the tile to the left of us and the tile to the right of us. And if so, we will return those things. So I'm going to go ahead and do this right here, take tile left. And if the tile to the left is this, then let's go ahead first and make a temp number array. Yeah, did you ever have a time where you were really into Tetris, Joey?
Not really. I played it on and off a little bit, but never enough to get good.
Yeah, there was a brief time in I like my senior year of high school where my friends got really into that Facebook Tetris game you could play against each other. Tetris Friends, I think it was.
Friends? Okay.
And so we all got very into Tetris, and we're T-spinning it up. Mostly because we loved Puyo Puyo, but the only copy of Puyo Puyo we had was Kirby's Avalanche, which one of my friends had for his Super Nintendo, which has the inferior Puyo Puyo 1 rule set, you know, so it's not really perfect. But we would, you know, we had to be in the same physical location to play that against each other. So
couldn't just do it over Facebook and be all cool with it.
Yeah, because that's what we were.
Send a poke. What was it? Was it poke that you do on Facebook?
Oh, you are asking the wrong person. Yep, I am basically a social media Luddite. I have none of them. All right. Okay, so if we're going to the right, then our base one is 1, and we want to check the tile to the top and the tile to the bottom, and we want to see, is this up and is this one down? And if this one is up, we want to add 0. If this one is down, we want to add 2. So now we can go ahead and do plus and. So this one is going to be if we are, whoops, remove comment. This one is going to be if we are moving down. So we're going to set our thing to be 2, and then we are going to grab the exact same if statements we have for up because they're just the perpendicular, so it's the same.
Yeah.
Stick that in there. All right, here. And then finally, inside of the else, I can go ahead and get rid of this. We are going to have the 3, because this is going to the left. And we're going to grab the same up-down check we had for going to the right. All right. It's always fun to do stuff with 4 directions because you get to do if statements like this.
Yes.
That's why platformers are where it's at. All right, and now we get to return this array. All right, cool. So now we have a nice little thing that'll tell us which directions we can move in. So we're going to go ahead and refactor this code a little bit. So before we were doing this, I'm going to pull this out right here. We were going to check if the tile at the center is this or this. But now we can kind of just instead say if, and then call that function get choice directions, check the length of that array. If this equals 1, then we just go with this. Right. Otherwise, we need to display the choices. So we're going to go ahead and do a for. I guess we should put this inside of a variable. So let's put this inside of temp number array right there. There you go. Then we're going to do a for index loop. And we're going to go from 0 to whatever the length of this array is, -1. And we're going to create a sprite for each of our choices. So let's go ahead and create a sprite. We're going to go into our arrays and do a get value at. And we're going to do another get value at. So this outer one is going to be our arrows. So there we go. And this inner one is going to be our temp number array. And it's going to be our, going to pass an index. And we're going to go ahead and make this a arrow choice sprite. Cool. All right. So we're going to do a few things. First off, we're going to set this to be relative to camera. There we go. And we're just going to place these guys in the center of the screen, just kind of like spaced out. We want to space them evenly. So how do we space things evenly? Well, imagine, if you will, we are placing these things such that we have an equal amount of space in between all of them. The number of gaps that we have in between our items is going to be equal to 1 minus the number of items we have. So if we have 2, there's 1 gap in between, which is right in the middle. And that's the amount of empty space it is. So we know our widths of our arrows. And what we're going to be calculating basically is whatever the remaining empty space is, and then dividing that by the number of our items -1. Except that would work, but we would have our left arrow be all the way on the left side of the screen, and our right arrow be all the way on the right side of the screen. And then, you know, that would look bad. So what we're going to do is we want to have some padding on the left and right. So we're actually going to consider that we have a for. Well, we're gonna make it so that we have the exact same number of spaces as we have items, and we're going to divide that last space by 2, and that's going to be our padding on the left and right. So we're going to take the complete width of our arrows, which is just adding, you know, our number of arrows times whatever the width of our arrow sprite is, which is 17. We're going to subtract that from our screen width, and then we're going to divide that by our number of arrows. And that's going to be what we're going to multiply by our index. And then we're going to add half of that for our padding on the left. I know that was confusing. It'll make sense when I code it.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and make a variable just to make this easier to understand. We're going to make one called total width. And we're going to set our total width to be let's just do arrows get value at 0. Oh, right. We don't actually, I'm just going to hard code this because we still don't have a block for getting the width of an image, which is insane to me. There you go. And so we're going to make a new thing here, which is going to be empty space. And this is going to be equal to screen width minus total width. Whoops. And then we're going to make another one, which is going to be spacing between arrows. And this is going to be equal to our empty space divided by our number of arrows. And now we're going to set the x of our sprite to be equal to half the spacing between arrows plus index times spacing between arrows. Except we don't actually want this to be x, we want this to be left. So make this left. Okay, all right. Well, we should be able to test this out. There we go. Okay. Perhaps not in the order we would have wanted, but there you go. We have our choices there. We'll fix the order.
What do you mean? We could just go left to go right. It's like a slingshot.
Yeah. All right. Let's fix the order, and also this looks bad. So I guess we'll put it over the sprite or something. I don't know. It's gonna get tricky. All right, let's fix our order. So what we're going to do is for each of these cases, we're now going to make sure that we have them in the order that makes sense. So this one is left and right. This is the one we were just looking at. 3 is left, so we want 3 to be first. There we go. Now this one is up, down, so that one doesn't actually matter. So just leave that as this. Okay, so now this one is you're going up and you can turn left or right. Up is actually the middle case. So because that's the direction you're currently heading. So I'm actually going to put it like this so that we have the left will be the left, up will be the keep going, and then right will be go to the right, because I think that's the one that makes the most sense. Okay, so now we're heading to the right, and we can go down or up. So we're going to make it so that, I don't know, what's the best way to do this one? I guess right still has to be at the right, otherwise it's weird. So all right, this one's down, so we're going to do the same thing as before. We're going to put the down in the center. And now for this one's left, so we want left to be to the left, so this is actually fine. Okay, I think that handles it. So now left will always be left, right will always be right, and then when we are going up or down, we will put the up or down direction in the center, because you're kind of, that's like the direction you're currently in, and then you can make a choice. Whatever. All right. So let's just go ahead and get back into that state again. There we go. This looks bad. How do we make this look nicer? I guess we could draw a thing around this.
Kind of feels like a circle, maybe, or a pill.
Yeah, so we did make a function for that. All right. So we're going to say if global state is, and we're going to put in a new global state here. This is going to be choosing. All right, come on now. Come on. All right, I don't know what's going on here. Let me edit you. Why isn't this working? All right. Okay. So here we're going to go ahead and change our state to be choosing direction. So let's do that right now. Change global state to. And inside of this choosing direction, we're going to draw a rounded rectangle, and we want this to wrap around our arrows. So what we're going to do here is we were doing all this calculation before. We're going to throw that away. Get out of here. Well, let's keep this total width. We're going to change our spacing between arrows to be equal to a constant number. We're going to make this 8. And we're going to change our total width to actually be the total width, which is going to take the spacing between arrows into account. So we're going to do the total width, and then we're going to do plus. And this is going to be our spacing between arrows. Or, you know what, we can actually just do 17 plus our spacing between arrows times the number of things minus 1 spacing between arrows. Going to be the fewest number of block drags I have to do. All right, now what we do here is we are going to say the left is going to be equal to our screen width divided by 2. This is a fun trick. By fun, I mean useful. If you ever need to center something horizontally, what you want to do is you have one box, which is the thing you're centering inside, and another box, which is the thing that you're centering. You want to take half the width of the outer box and then subtract half the width of the thing you're centering. And that's how you get the left position.
Yeah.
So we want to do our screen width divided by 2. Minus our total width divided by 2. Plus our index times 17 plus the spacing between arrows. There we go. Okay, so now they should all appear centered, and they should have 8 pixels between them. Whoa, I didn't work. Oh, I see. It was this code I put in here. There we go. Okay, cool. So we're centered. We have 8 pixels in between. So let's go ahead and draw our thing around these choices. So we probably want this to be out of the way so that it's not crowding the player. So I guess we'll put it down here at the bottom. Oh, I hate the UI for this, but I'm too lazy to do the nice thing. So the nice thing would be we center the camera over our guy, and then we have the arrow appear such that it does not obscure the spaces that you're going to be walking on above their head, and then we press left and right. Why do I not want to do that? Well, we have to deal with all sorts of stuff if we are using a camera, which is, what if we're too close to the edge of the screen? Now we need to nudge everything over or stuff like that. Really, what I would probably end up doing is just making it so that we have enough padding on all sides of our board that that isn't an issue. I think is probably the best way to do that. But hi, I'm still VP. I don't know. Should we do that? Should we just bite the bullet and add camera to our game right now?
Board games do get pretty big.
Yeah. Let's do it. All
probably,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We're
It's
gonna
probably
go
a
to
10-minute boring job.
We're gonna go to our test thing, and we're gonna make this much bigger. So we're just gonna double, or quadruple it, I guess. So double our width and height. We're gonna go ahead and just put this in the center, so we got lots of dead space around us. This is more dead space than we need, but this is fine. And inside of our turn start, right here, we're going to go ahead and center the camera on our piece. So, or we can toss this out and call our function. There you go. Oh, all right. Let's go ahead and this is going to reveal all of our problems. Okay, we're going to have to go to that sprite now, and we need to make your LW to camera. Let's see, where did we create that guy? Here it is. So if you've never seen it before, relative to camera is a really nifty thing for making it so that your sprite ignores the camera.
Mhm.
It also turns off physics. Not physics, but overlaps and collisions and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is nifty. So
usually you don't want overlaps and collisions, and if you do, then you can't use overlap to camera. Sorry.
Yeah, you can't use relative to camera. You got to do your own thing, which you can do, but it's annoying.
Yeah, you just have to place it every time.
Yes. And do your own over. Well,
the overlaps.
Yeah, no,
work.
I guess
the collisions
it's,
won't. But collisions don't really make as much sense in that scenario, or they do, but you'll have to deal with it. It's
tough. If you start doing that, think to yourself, why am I doing this? All right. Yes. Let's go over to our where we just were, which was inside of our okay, so now we're creating these guys, and they are centered on top of our guy, but we want them to actually be above. So we're going to go ahead and go to our, let's see, place where we're creating these, which is inside of this move one space right here. And we're going to go ahead and change the Y of this to be, we're just going to assume that, oh, whoops, all right. We're just going to assume that we are centered on this guy. So we're going to take our Y and set it to be, see, so 60 is halfway through the screen. We want, our things are 17 by 17, so we want to go at least 9 up, plus half the width of our guy, who is 8 by 8, which is 4, so that would be 13 up. And let's give ourselves a little bit more wiggle room. We're going to go 20 up, so we'll set our Y to be 40. That's some fast math. There we go. Okay, so now they're nice and above our thing, which is cool. All right, so we're going to go ahead now and I feel like maybe we don't need to draw the background if we just make these things way bigger. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If we make the arrows way bigger, I feel like we don't need to draw the background and make their background not white, though, you know, we're not going to have these tiles, so.
Yeah. I guess that's true.
Here, let's do something stupid. So make them bigger, all right. Yeah, that works. Okay, so we'll make this be 20. And we're going to set their scale to be 2. So they just end up nice and big. And let's go ahead and edit them so that our border isn't being annoying and getting in, you know, conflicting with the tile background.
Yeah.
All right. We'll take the white and we're going to change it to be, well, let's take purple and change it to be purple, and change the white to be dark purple. By the way, to swap colors, you need to change your foreground and background. To select your background, right click, and then to select your foreground, left click, And then if you do Shift R, it will switch from the background to the foreground inside of whatever selection you have, or the whole image if you have nothing selected. Is how I'm doing this magic. All right. Cool. Okay. We got big arrows now. They're still kind of hard to see, being honest. But
Yeah. It's probably, I mean, it's fine for now. We can always come back to it later. It's not.
Yeah, we can come back to it. Okay, so let's just make it so we can actually choose one of these things. So we're gonna go ahead and go to our let's see. We're going to make a variable, which is going to be choice directions. And we're going to store our choice directions inside here so that we're going to need to reference it later. So and we're going to make another variable, which is going to be choice direction sprites. We're going to set this to be an empty array. And we're going to add these sprites to this array. Cool. All right, so now we have our choice directions, we have our choice direction sprites, and finally we need to put our choice index, which is our currently selected choice. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into here and say if the length of our choice direction thing is equal to 3, then I want the default choice to be the center one. So we're going to set our index to be 1. Choice direction index. We're going to go ahead and set that to be 1. Otherwise, we're just going to set it to be 0. All right, cool. Now we need to make it so we can actually select one of these guys. So when we select it, we probably want the arrow to change color, and we'll also make it a little bit bigger since we're already using the scale. So we'll make it so that it changes color and the arrow gets bigger and then shrinks back down when we go around. OscilloVB also said maybe drop shadow. So that's interesting. Kind of hard effect to make happen in a pixelate thing. I guess we can do the fake drop shadow, which is just, I mean, obviously it's fake drop shadow, but where we just do this, you know, so you do it on one side, basically. Also, VP says yes, baked in. Yeah, we could do that. Maybe we will. Well, we're out of time for today, so maybe we'll do that next time. All right, cool. Well, I think we'll probably try to finish this game up next time, or at least all we're going to do for it, because I got to say, I'm not feeling inspired by this game, unless someone thinks of something fun to do with it. It's kind of like, oh, Adam F says this game is getting real cool. Okay, all right, we'll keep working on it. I don't mind.
Maybe we'll just throw in some mini games or something. That's always a fun way to.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. We're getting close to done with the movement stuff. Now that we have this movement thing in, and we already have it set up to do multiple player turns. So we should have that all done. We'll just need to make it look a little bit prettier. So we want to replace these arrow tiles with something that looks nice. And then we need to make it actually do something like, so the options are we do something every 4 turns. So every time each player moves, or we do it every time, something happens. So, and I was trying to think of like, what are some things we can do? So mini games is the obvious one that would literally make this Mario Party. And then the other option would be doing something like just having spaces with consequences on them. So like in Monopoly, you have the chance cards, or you have isn't there another kind of cards in Monopoly? The chance
Life
cards.
cards, like life events.
Yeah, something like that.
It's well, or jobs, or I mean, there's a couple. Like you can get family and chance, and yeah.
Adam F says, at the end of all turns is boring because it's known when they're going to happen. Make it random spaces. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, Still VP says community chest. That's what it is. I remember it as something weird, something old timey that does not exist in any community anyway. Right?
We could make a trading card game. We could bake that into this as well. So you have cards and then you use them to fight.
Okay. All right. Joey's trying to sign me up for the most work once again. There's something we could do there or something. I don't know. Yeah, board games are easier when maybe we should have planned this out beforehand, but maybe we'll have a stream where we just brainstorm on what the board game could be, you know?
Yeah. I mean, once we have the base of moving around a board, then that's already enough. And just showing an example of any one board game variation is good.
Yeah. Also, for Friday of this week, I think I just decided what we're going to work on. I want to do a camera extension. So I want to do an extension that lets you do dramatic pans, and it has like the camera, like, you know, move around and have like a max speed so it doesn't teleport. Just like when you set a new camera location, it just kind of like boom.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
Yeah. And maybe one that also lets you go outside the bounds of the tile map if you want. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Thanks everybody. I am Richard on MakeCode Forum.
I'm Joey at JWonder on the MakeCode Forum.
And we'll see you on Wednesday, just like usual. Bye everybody.
Yo, that would be great for something I'm making. Stealing that the second you make it. I mean, it wouldn't be stealing; it's just using it.
Yeah. That's such a simple extension. We can definitely do it in one day, and I'll put it up in a repo right away. So don't worry about that.
Nice.
All right. See you later, everybody.